I went to the UK's biggest fast food chains to figure out which is most likely to kill me. So I can eat them more often. But before I do that, I need to figure out a criteria for what makes a restaurant more likely to kill me. So here's how I'm gonna do it.
Every restaurant I go to, I'll ask for the healthiest item on their menu, as well as secretly ordering the menu item I've predetermined to actually be the healthiest.
Could I get and whatever you think the healthiest item on your menu is?
Once I have the food, I'll rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 for protein per gram, restaurant hygiene rating, calorie density, long-term health benefits, and palatability. At the end, we should be able to go through all of the so-called healthiest options from each chain to determine which has the deadliest food, but also the healthiest. I'll also reveal what the secret healthiest item from each chain actually is, and therefore also exposing which restaurant is most likely to mislead us to our death. But before I begin, there's some ground rules I need to cover, because I can already hear you screaming,
But Evie, what if there's salad on the menu?
Don't worry, because salad is not fast food,
It's crunchy green water.
and I will not stand for it. So whatever I order must be a main menu item or a meal, and for this experiment, we'll only be drinking water, and sides will not be included. With that all said, let us begin.
So first up is Greggs, which is the largest fast food chain in the UK with over 2,389 branches across the country. The healthiest item I could get.
After a very long and indecisive back and forth, the staff at Greggs finally decided on their healthiest item. The Greggs sausage roll. Because it's their most popular? Yeah, you heard right. Their sound logic for their healthiest item was the one they sold the most of. Because, of course, the British population screams health. After measuring the temperature for the Greggs in a very choice location, the disappointment continued, and the breakdown for the Greggs sausage roll is as follows. Due to the low food temperature from fresh, Greggs only scored 7 out of 10 for safety rating, and according to the nutrition information, the sausage roll scored 1 out of 10 for protein score, 6 out of 10 for calorie density, 7 out of 10 for long-term health markers, and 8.5 on our subjective palatability scale, giving a final death score of 40 out of 100. Despite my undying British love for Greggs, my disappointment was immeasurable. But I refused to let my day be ruined. I was holding out hope that our next stop would be a little better.
So next up is Nando's, and it's actually the smallest of all of the chains that we're going to be visiting today because it only has 473 branches across the entire UK. So let's see what the healthiest option is.
The cashier wasn't having any of it. She was low-key super scary.
I hope I'm not in that, yeah?
But after much deliberation, she finally started talking business.
What chicken would you like?
Yeah, so I guess quarter chicken. So can I get 2 of those then, I guess?
Any particular part of the chicken?
Breast if you can.
Yeah.
Things were looking promising, because how could anything be bad when breasts are
Oh,
involved?
these?
I'm right, I was, because after taking a temperature of the flaming hot, voluptuous breasts, the breakdown for Nando's was a safety score of 10, a protein score of 5.5, calorie density of 8, and long-term health score of 7, and a subjective palatability score of 7, giving us a final death score of just 24.7 out of 100. But will McDonald's be able to match up?
Nice titties. Mind if I,
Next up is McDonald's with 1,465 branches across the UK. Let's have a gander. I have a bit of a weird question to ask you. So I was going to ask, what do you think the healthiest main menu item is? The McPlant. So you think that's the healthiest?
Yeah.
Alright, could I get a McPlant, please? I need to order over there. No worries, thank you.
After discussing with a member of staff, they informed me that the McPlant would be the healthiest item because it has plant in the name, before dismissing me to order from a clanker instead of the till. Why is there a till if you can't use it?
My thermometer. No. Very scientific, you see.
And disappointingly, here are the ratings for McDonald's. A safety score of 7, protein score of 2, calorie density of 7.6, long-term health of 5.7, and a palatability of just 5, giving an overall death score of 41.2. Next, I have a bone to pick with the Colonel, because we're going to KFC. Get it? Because chickens have bones.
Next up is KFC with 1,016 branches across the entire of the UK.
KFC was the only place that actively tried to upsell me when I asked for the healthiest item. But hey, I don't make the rules. get your bag, King, I guess.
Thank you. There was no handle on the bag again. But at least I have a vessel for my milkshake now. Because my milkshake, it doesn't bring any of the boys to the yard. And I don't think it's much better than yours.
With a disappointing safety score due to temperature of just 7 out of 10, dude, they cooked it fresh. How is it already cold?
KFC. Cold food.
And a protein score of 3, a calorie density of 8, long-term health of 9.3, and a palatability of 7 for a final death score of just 31. Finally, call me Jessie J, because we're going to Domino's.
The fifth and final restaurant that we're going to be visiting is Domino's, which is the largest pizza chain in the UK with 1,309 restaurants across the country. That was a push door. Could I get whichever pizza you think is the healthiest? Whichever you think is the healthiest, objectively, across the board, including protein, including calories, all of those different options. What do you think? So you think that's the healthiest, yeah?
Yeah.
Could I get a medium of that as well then, please? Awesome, thank you. And now we wait.
Continuing our running theme, the cashier was very visibly confused by my request. But we ultimately settled on the Ultra Paneer Pizza, which came in with a safety score of 10, a protein score of 1.9, calorie density of 7.2, a measly long-term health score of 6.4, and finally, because it low-key looked icky, a palatability score of just 4. And just like that, it was time to reach our dramatic conclusion.
And before we do the breakdown, YouTube says that 0% of you have subscribed to me.
Subscribe.
So with everything collected from our top 5 UK chains, the order is as follows. Coming in at number 5 was the worst, McDonald's, which recommended the McPlant, which has a death score of 41 out of 100. Followed by the Greggs sausage roll, then the Ultra Paneer pizza from Domino's, chicken thighs from KFC, and unsurprisingly, the healthiest was the quarter chicken from Nando's, which makes sense because it's just grilled chicken. It had a death score of just 24 out of 100.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
That's just what we were recommended by the staff. As I previously mentioned, I secretly ordered another item from each location that I predetermined to be the healthiest. So reshuffling all of these items, we find that only one of these restaurants successfully recommended their actual healthiest item. Coming in at number 5 remains McDonald's, which recommended the Chicken McNuggets, which had a death score of 36, followed by the Domino's cheese and tomato pizza, then KFC with popcorn chicken, Greggs with a dramatically lower rice bowl coming in at just 26. And finally, and unsurprisingly, Nando's was the only location to successfully recommend the healthiest item on their menu, with the quarter chicken being recommended to us as well. And while McDonald's might be the deadliest and Nando's might be the healthiest, there was one that stood out as the most sinister, which was Greggs, who recommended an item of food that was 2 times more deadly than their healthiest item, and was actually one of the worst items that they could have recommended, while both KFC and Nando's recommended items that were close to, if not the healthiest items they could have. Which raises a new question. Was this ignorance or a deliberate act of sabotage and malice? Some may even say this was premeditated murder at the grandest scale. So McDonald's may be the deadliest.